Booyaka. Welcome to the Gatekeepers Musically Speaking Podcast.
Shaman, you're bad.
It's your boy Verbal Vein with Shaman in a spot and Mari in a sector. Episode gani? In episode 6. Hey, by the way, man, see our last episode, maze, there was some weird stuff happening. It was delayed for some weird reason. There were no views for 2 days. People say it may have something to do with the the people above.
I know, like I got calls of people telling me, hey, they've watched it and it's still showing no views.
Holy shit. But actually, maybe the fault was actually on us. We did not put notifications on the premiere. But anyway, every Monday at 9 p.m. on YouTube will be premiering. Imagine, hii kitu inaitwa SoundCloud. Ati mazee, we have already reached our limit of episodes.
Yeah. Like I saw they have a limit of 180 minutes, I think, for the free space sort of.
I think now we need sponsors. Sponsors should come in now.
Yeah, there was a time SoundCloud used to be at least you could put like more audio content. Siku hizi wana limit sana blood, and even there's an article somewhere that SoundCloud is not doing well because of such policies.
Yeah, but if you compare that with YouTube, like you can upload a lot of content on YouTube without any limitations for free. And I think, by the way, SoundCloud has always had that limit, but I think maybe if you look at it in terms of songs, I think because our audio content is longer, they time it in minutes. So if you're maybe putting in songs which are like 3, 4, 5 minutes, you can put a lot of them before you reach the
maximum limit.
Yeah. But our pod, like 30 to 45 minutes.
It's crazy.
Man, you have 3, 4 and you...
So what have you been up to musically? For me, was it on a Monday? Yeah. Monday I actually went to this studio. You know, it's like, there are places where you go, you feel like, I've done this before and this is not going to work. It's these young Gunners are working on a mixtape. I used to know them way back. So I go there. The guy has a good setup, but I think he just set up his studio in a bedroom just to see if I had mixing skills. You know, he was looking for somebody who could mix. He fell out with his original producer because akuta kumlipa. So, you have to pay a producer for good work. So what I noticed is, I go there, I sit down.
Speaking of paying a producer for good work, I think probably you should now talk about Shaman, and there's the EP we're doing, the contraband one.
Yes.
I noticed you've not paid. But go on.
But this is a collaborative project. So there is an effort of skill Shaman applies, and also me, I'll be adding an effort of skill visually.
I hope this won't end up being like the Red Sun scenario.
No.
So anyway, this guy needs somebody who's mixing. So me I just go there. I can arrange, but now the niggas using Reaper. Reaper connecting to FL, and then also the guys is recording. They are not rapping nicely. Unajua mi kama msanii, when you go somewhere you see this is not going to go at far much because you've been in that position. So also even the guy they've been recording, unacheki vile ukirecord unasikia on the headphones you can hear the beat. So
like you can hear it outside of the headphones. Wow.
So I tell that guy that I tell you guy, man, you'll have to do this again. What is this I'm hearing? It's like no. We can put effects there. So I was like, it is that issue, man.
Sound quality.
Exactly. When you have a sound and it is flawed, you have to repeat it again. You have to repeat it again because the amount of effort it will take trying to fix that sound. It will not sound, it will sound poor. Alafu pia kuweka effects. Unacheki?
And it's good you say that because most of the producers, they think you can compromise the hardware with the software. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult. It's either you have a clean tech or no tech at all. That's how I work nowadays, at least.
So here's what I did. Me, I knew this thing is not going to go anywhere. So this guy, he smokes his fat blunt. He's like, yo, so what else do you need? Me, I tell him, download Cubase now. Reaper is not going to help you. So he's like, okay, let's go. So he downloads Cubase, I open for him, and then I go. I've never gone back there again. Nilisema hapa kwenye naona, because at first I thought, maybe do mixtapes with this guy, but that unseriousness of that audio, kasema hapa, it's a dead deal. What did you guys do?
Funny thing, I think I had a maybe sort of related experience within the week. I was with in this studio called Made in Kibera. You heard of it, yeah?
Yes. You guys are big enough. So many people here. I think we should start now charging for it.
Yo, Made in Kibera, mmesikia?
Walipe something. At least atupatie views. Come na views ama subscription.
Yeah. So I was hanging out with them. We were doing some rehearsals. We're trying to get some live projects going. So like live streaming or live recordings. And we had some sort of similar issues with the sound setup. So kuna hii issue, let me just talk about it because I think itasaidia wasanii all over.
Yeah.
Kuna the issue of sound setup and the levels, and saa zingine pengine msa anacheza bass ama anacheza keys ama anacheza guitar, and they can't hear their instrument on the sound ama kwa speakers.
Okay.
Then wanasema waongezewe volume.
Yeah.
And akiongezewa inaenda inafunika some other instrument.
Yeah.
Then pia huyo anasema aongezewe volume. So by the end of the day kila mtu ameongezewa volume na then mnaanza kusikia yeah. And ni an issue nimeona na a lot of guys who are in the live scene. I think it's important, guys in the live scene, pia to understand that sound setup, there's a reason why levels are set in a certain way, and as much as unafaa kujisikia, you should also be able to tell the person mwenye ana adjust those sounds.
Wacha originality and sampling. What have you been up to this week?
Oh yeah, it's okay. No, that's I was talking about, that's what I've been up to.
Okay.
Live
nice.
Live recordings.
Carry on.
Yeah, so I was just pointing that out. Maybe we need another day to discuss this.
Actually, no, this is actually part of the cards.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shaman, what have you been up to this week?
It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week for me, especially. I didn't have time to do my music the way I normally do it because I'm trying to impress at work. I sold out and
9 to 5.
Yeah, to the 9 to 5, and I'm really I have so much pressure at work to deliver certain things, and when it comes to court stuff. Anyway, musically, this week I've only done, I think, 2 beats. And all of them are taken up, and even for the soundbite, I'll have to go back to the archives. But musically,
hey, this guy, you should know, man. Hey, he has some serious archives.
The archives. And anyway, if you're a producer, you need to do your backup. It's something I have to learn the hard way. Because I lost a hard disk that I had for the past 10 years. It was 2 GB, and then it just stopped working.
Man, by the way, I think we've lost projects.
Yeah.
We've lost projects.
There's one Mari did with Curated, and it was supposed to ilikuwa tutoke nayo, unajua. Because Curated right now is on the scene and all that stuff.
Now he's doing stuff. Big up Curated, man.
We look like we are one of these. We've done a song with Curated. What the fuck are you talking about? Where is it? I lost it to the other hard disk. Yeah, so musically this week has been crazy. I've not done much, but I think it goes to show the amount of effort everyone is trying to put into this. And like today, we've had to sacrifice a lot of things to be here. Duke, in fact, never wanted to be here. I should
What the fuck are you talking about?
I have like editing to do. I have sketches to do. I have. This guy has so much.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
You won't be available. You won't be available today. We do it during the midweek. You know, like just midweek.
We had to bembeleza him.
When was that? No.
Back pole.
Wacha nijitete. Who comes here first? Me or Mari?
Okay, today it was Mari. Anyway. Yeah, we really appreciate your support, you guys.
Anyway,
and we hope this is all worthwhile in the end.
So smash that subscribe button. I know you all can see it because now we're exclusively on YouTube.
Oh yes.
Engineering a music career, bloods.
You wanna go fast? Huh? You wanna go fast? I think Mari is the authority in this.
Yeah.
Mari should come here. Mari should just
okay. What does it take to become a musician? There's the looks. There's the how you sound. There's the inspiration, and how far can you go to copying? Because a great artist. It said, "See, you a great artist is one who knows how to copy, but not copy to a point you completely duplicate somebody, but you kind of create your own style." Like to say, if me I used to listen to Fela Kuti and I want to do Afro music, I'd have to maybe to start dressing in those kangas, probably get a band of chicks in traditional, wear drum guys, do some Afro pop music, What does it take to be a musician, to engineer musical career, bloods?
Maybe I should just start. We're trying to do this Wakile Junior thing. It's a good start to start. So anyway, I have tried to speak to several artists in terms of starting their young careers and whatnot. And one of the things we start with is to evaluate if you actually know your personality or your character. What do you want to be as an artist? What do you want to portray? Yes. So it resonates through even to your sound, to your design of writing, to the way you present yourself in the public. Because you see, all this is showbiz. Everything is showbiz. Ukishakuwa msanii is showbiz. There's no stopping.
I think skip ahead to showbiz, but before you get to showbiz, like what makes an artist? I think artists need to understand that.
You want to take it or you want me to take it?
Just okay. I'll compliment with
okay, very well. So I think for an artist, first of all, you need to identify your character as an artist. You need to pick one. For example, let's just use the most vivid, the ones people know. And if you look at successful people who have done their characters very well, one of them, the most audacious one, is the Joker, for example. Not a musician, but an artist nonetheless. The Joker. And then if you're going to Wasani, you hear people like Beyonce have alter egos. Sasha Fierce, like Rihanna, she has that kind of bad girl really, So all those are meant to shape perception for the audience, so that every time she steps up, there is a confine within which you identify the artist. So if when you hear that song and it's Rihanna, you imagine her doing those bad girl things, and you're already in the vibe. But most artists, the ones at least I've seen here in Kenya, most of them, for example, let's take Major with his tumbler cup. He's trying to catch on a brand, and then in my I don't mean to hate. I'm just we are discussing the character thing here. So how would a tumbler help your personality as an artist? For example,
there's a time I wish Akina Nonini had continued with that zebra thing they were doing. That
zebra?
Was unit. When they went on stage, they had a weird zebra, and then they put it on stage.
Like
that kind of what is it? Gimmicks?
The gimmicks,
like a real live zebra.
It was like a statue or some kind of weird juju thing.
Oh, okay. And like they like put it on stage after they perform. They put it on stage when they are performing. Okay, that's interesting.
Those kind of gimmicks.
Yeah,
they go to show like at least the artist has put some thought into it. You see, like now, Major, you see Major with a tumbler. But you just can't go pick up a tumbler and you don't know what Major had in mind when he started picking up the tumbler. So
true. And
we'll be right back.
I think someone is at the door.
The Illuminati probably. Akuwa amelipa.
Landlord alikuwa amekuja na padlock kubwa.
One time.
Corona relief. The government paid out 2 million. These people can't believe I never got it.
Yeah.
I know Mari got something. Mari, how much did you get?
Yes. Tell us about it, Black.
I don't think I'm allowed to disclose.
Because they were peanuts. These peanuts were split into 2. Is it 2 for?
Mimi ningekuwa na hiyo. If I had such a sum of money, I would have used it maybe to organize maybe something like, I don't know, maybe a live concert online. Because right now you can't do, actual concerts out there.
Like
can't do like live concerts. So maybe, you can use most of that money to organize maybe something big for many artists. Yeah, but anyway, we're engineering a music career, Blood.
Someone should tag
identity.
Major. And let him know we're talking about this great tumbler.
And P-Unit with their zebra thing.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know why they didn't continue that. I think that's it's like the way maybe let's say the Joker leaves a card.
Yeah.
After
you see, those kind of gimmicks go a long way, especially in identifying with your audience or marking your territory or something. It's an inspiration for when you're mentioned or when you're not there, your legacy lives on. So for an artist, you need to come up with your own identity, because let's be honest, guys.
Yeah,
there's nothing new under the sun. Okay.
True. True. Very true.
And that's one of the things. What intellectual property. If you want to protect your intellectual property, you need to register it, right? Or you need to actually demonstrate, illustrate, and personify it, so to say. So huwezi kusema una protect idea. The idea will not be protected. As an artist, you need to identify yourself and know who you are, because everyone else is taken. Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
True. I think maybe I'll talk more on sound, identifying your sound as an artist to complement what you said. I think kuna this let me say issue I have with artists. Wasanii wengi siku hizi wakiulizwa, especially when they're coming up and starting off, ukiulizwa what kind of music do you do, wasanii wengi wanasema mimi hakuna kitu sifanyangi, mimi fanya zote. Funny thing is, I think in my experience, I use that to identify an artist who is young in the game, who is starting off, because as an artist you need to identify your sound, and maybe at the very basic it starts with your genre. You cannot be an artist who does everything. You can't. It is it's impractical. You can't do it. And identifying your genre that's where identifying your sound starts with. For example, let's say MJ was known as the king of pop.
Yeah.
And he's known as probably the greatest artist in this generation.
Yeah.
Or this century. Identifying him as the king of pop is like marking his sound. But it doesn't mean that he only did pop music. He did some R&B, he did some jazz, nini, but all that was linked to his original sound. And I think this is what I would advise a lot of artists out there: identify your sound. Then you can incorporate all the other sounds. If let's say you are an R&B artist, Once you've made your bass and your sound and identified it as R&B, you can begin incorporating reggae, you can begin incorporating hip-hop, you can begin incorporating whatever other sound, mugithi or benga, but you first need to identify what your sound is.
So to add to sound also, there is also another thing about sound, like the kind of lyrics that you put down. There's that thing called vibe, the message that you put in your music. More of like the art of storytelling. I can take, for example, there's this artist called E40. E40 has been there since the days of Tupac. He did collabos with Tupac, and right now he's still doing albums. This guy does a lot of albums. He can do maybe an album per month, a mixtape every 2 weeks. But the thing is, it's his art of storytelling. Within his music, he explains a lot. He doesn't just talk about himself as an artist, or he doesn't talk about just simple situations. He talks about very many things. A mother somewhere, a sister somewhere, a cousin, a relative, somebody in the hood who had gone through some crazy hood stuff, So also to add to Mari's sound, that vibe message, you have to actually know what kind of stories you can portray in your music. You can have the club banger, that club banger, that track that everybody's going to bounce to. But now the rest of your album, you can have the one for the chicks, the chiles, but look at like a Bob Marley album. There's always one for the mama. There's always one for, a lot of variations.
What you're going for is content.
Ideally,
it's content. You need to load up your music with content. And content has to be realistic, practical, relatable, all those things. Like to utasikia na connect nayo. I think that's what it is. Because even if you're dancing, in fact, that's another perspective, Mambo. I need to cut that.
No sweat. I ain't got no job, man.
It's not about the job, though. It's not about I don't want you to be taken for a walk in the Ngong forest.
Okay. we already got a warning with the last episode. We don't want to go any further.
No one wants to fuck with that shit. I don't want. Anyway, so I was saying, when it comes to content, people have the wrong notion when it comes to how to package their music. Because there's a song, for example, Galemioja, put my arms right around Egyptian song. It was not, was that a club banger? Was it? Like, it never had not kicks, really. No thick bass, nothing. But the song was in the clubs for years and years and years. Why? Because it was nicely done. It was a nicely done song. It was a proper feel-good vibe for the club. But now find an artist thinking that a club song has to have a thick bass, thick drums, thick snares, everything is fast and it's just so that igonge unajua igonge. No. If your song is dope, trust me, the DJs will find beats to make it work in the club. True or false?
True.
It's the way you make timeless music with content and all those things. If people like it, they'll take it to the clubs. Believe that. So for an artist, I think there's no limitations. It's just doing it basics. Get it right from the basics.
And so there's also now another thing of imagery, the way an artist looks. You need those photo shoots, blood. Any artist who's listening out there, you need those proper photo shoots. And also the way you look, the way you dress, that dress code. We've just seen some dude, Rastafari, come over here, Seraphina's looking nigga. The niggas really look like artists, man. So, there's that
look. You can tell from the attire.
Yes.
And I think it's an important thing for artists to understand. The way you see MJ, for example, I like using MJ because
the white gloves.
And when someone puts on a white glove, you don't have to explain a lot. You just know that's MJ, trying to get the MJ vibe.
Eco.
And the dressing, like, those don't touch.
The glitters and...
those shiny things. A lot of people think that that's what he just wanted to dress like, or that's how he wakes up. looking like. But but it's actually a work that you put in, and you need to identify how you want to be identified as an artist, how you want people to portray or to see you. And that goes down to your dress code, how you appear on, let's say, social media, the photos you post, the posts you make. I don't want to go too deep, but I think artists need to understand the basics and be able to implement them in their journey and in their careers. And especially if you're taking music as a career, because there's a reason why they call it showbiz. It's because there's two components to it. There's the show, meaning you're portraying something, and it doesn't have to be. Of course, I wouldn't advocate for not doing anything that you're not comfortable with, but it doesn't have to be what you really want. It's more about what the audience would like.
You see, I want to digress kidogo and bring in the government of Kenya into this a little bit, because they're doing it so well. I think they should be artists. Because Muhammad Ali came out the other day and he was talking about how the port of Mombasa is being taken up by private individuals.
Did you say Muhammad Ali?
Is it Muhammad Ali?
No, the guy. The Jichopevu guy. Let's just call him the Jichopevu guy.
Jichopevu guy.
Muhammad Ali was a boxer.
Oh my God.
Shit happens.
Sting like a butterfly. Fly like something of the sort.
Yeah, that one. Okay. So he came out and was talking about how the port of Mombasa is being privatized. Yeah. And it trended in social media for like 2, 3, 4 days. And then before you know it, the handsome Joho and some other guy find themselves with a lady's pass.
Drug money.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's Mombasa know what I'm talking about.
And
drug money.
Everything went up in flames. Like, how can they do that? 30 million of taxpayers' money. Everyone was talking about it. That is showbiz. That is showbiz. That is showbiz. You see?
Yeah, what makes you think those businesses the governor did not know about? Come on.
What do you mean? That you can
say Mombasa. Drug money.
Yeah, I don't want to take a walk in the Ngong forest, my guy. You just keep it down. That's a good example of showbiz.
Yeah.
Giving people a show.
They talk about politicians being really similar to artists, and I think it's the same thing. Like I don't want to maybe put it out there in a bad way, but just to point out something. Have you guys ever asked yourselves,
Baba the mixtape?
Like
that can make a good one. That can be very good.
Man, I think you should organize some calls and suggest that idea. That's crazy. No, have you ever guys thought about how politicians are in one party on one election, then they're on the opposing side in the next election?
Yes.
Like if you were talking about that kind of thing, inaweza, if it was just them doing whatever they want, unaweza sema huyo ni mtu ana msimamo. But I think they're similar to artists in that they have that element of show. Yeah. Like it is about what the public perceives and what the public wants, and they have to adjust to that. And pia kama msanii semi ukuwe ka politician, but you could pick one or two things from the politicians out there.
We've been talking about the sound, the vibes. We're still at the imagery, the way people should dress up. There's this story. You remember Prince? Rest in
Prince,
peace.
Rest
in peace. There was a time Prince used to travel with his crew, and them they used to dress very retro. What do they call, leather pants, glossy jackets and stuff like that. So Prince saw his manager The manager was just dressed casually.
Prince said, let me bring in something interesting. I was watching some series, and Prince was featured in an episode, and he had the craziest, I don't know, should I say stunt?
Yeah.
Like he had a pet butterfly. Ooh. Like, you know, at a pet
and a cage,
like
what?
No, you see the way like these guys have birds on their hands. They have nini, then they call it and come and lands on their hand.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that with a butterfly.
That's
it's crazy.
We encourage gimmickry, we encourage, all types of imagery. Now, like I was saying,
go on with what you're saying. Yeah.
He saw the manager was dressed casually.
Yeah.
He said, "Nah, you're not going with us like that on tour." He told her, "Go into that room and dress that and wear those things that are there." When she went to that room, she saw some crazy clothes that she could not wear. But as a manager, she knew she had to wear them to be part of the crew. The funny thing is, 5 years later, people want to dress up like Prince. Leather jackets, the funny looking blings, stuff like that. So looking the part goes a extensively long way.
Artists do some crazy stunts, but I'd like other artists to understand. For example, Lady Gaga. Do you remember this time she put on a meat dress?
Yeah.
And if you think about that, it's crazy. But till today, we're still talking about that incident. And that makes for very good PR, makes for very good imagery. And, if people, as an artist, if you want to be remembered as an artist, there are things you need to do. I'm not saying do some crazy stunts or copy that, but you can do something, and you need to know that it is a stunt, but the rest of the world doesn't need to know.
For real. It's almost like wrestling. The way wrestling, there is the kayfabe part. Those wrestlers, they have characters they have to portray. Hulk Hogan has to look like that. I'm going to punch you in the face. Exactly.
What the Rock.
Exactly. And then the heels, the bad guys must always look like bad people. The guy who can punch a baby in a stroller or something like that. They're like, I don't.
Bad news.
Exactly.
Actually, there was a time Undertaker used to scare me. I couldn't watch him come to the ring.
Man, I know. Like I remember when I was small, I used to hide behind the TV.
You should even see those videos of the kids, the way they look. Must say, holy shit!
And then growing up, I find out the whole thing is staged.
Even Kane is not his actual brother.
Oh my God!
Imagine Kane is not even his actual brother.
I was so disappointed. I couldn't believe I've been living a lie. Because the whole time, I know, I had a story, Kane burnt Undertaker's parents in a house.
I remember that. And you would follow that story, and now when they come on stage to fight, you have all that backstory, and you
electrifying. And then as an artist, why would you forget the power and ability that gives to you? You have the ability to create a persona to which you present to the world. Ever imagine, you come on stage and people are doing your symbols and they're just flickering their hands the way you do it. That is glorification, and it brings about the question of God again. If all this is a lie, imagine waking up one day and being told, the God you've been praying to every Sunday, it's not there. It's not there. People go mad.
For sure.
But I'll say God is there.
God is there.
No, God the thing is, you believe what you want to believe.
It's okay. God is there. But you can't refuse the existence of a
supreme being.
Well, I don't think even that supreme being is Homo sapien.
You might be a god. I don't know.
Could be a praying mantis.
It could be a stick. I don't know. But
anyway, we're on the engineering and music career. We've just been talking about the imagery, the sound, the vibes, the way an artist. It's good to have an imagery and also a storyline, like 50 Cent when he got shot. Booyaka, Gatekeepers Musically Speaking Podcast. As usual, if you haven't done it, you better smash that subscribe button. Originality and sampling.
Sampling. Yeah, I think we mentioned in a previous episode talking about sampling.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of artists have issues with originality and having their own product. And if at all you copy, someone told me, and
like
I thought it was
we know
really,
some of these artists, the way they're created, most of them, their lyrics are not even theirs. Lyrics zao wameandikiwa, kila kitu wamefanyiwa, dress code wamefanyiwa, alafu anakam kukuambia ati you've stolen my style. Shaman knows what I'm talking about.
Why do you sound like you have a specific?
I have a specific man in mind.
Yeah,
but I don't want to.
Are you gonna throw in names in there?
No names. But it's very important that we acknowledge that the only reason why people get better is if you're working with the best, you're listening to the best. You have to work with the best so you can be better.
True.
Because otherwise, they are the people to beat. Yeah. And that's why I said when we started off the issue of originality and whatnot, I was talking about you need to understand what rights you would be having, or what kind of access you have to certain works. If you're sampling, for example, let's take J. Cole. J. Cole is the king of sampling. He's a beat maker, he's a producer, but you've never had him have copyright issues, with what? With the likes of kina alikuwa nimba ngoma za kitambo, R&B,
The Aretha Franklin samples.
Yeah, all those samples, he uses them. Sometimes he uses just the bass or the kicks or what, but no issues whatsoever. There's an approach to it. Nobody says you can't sample. If you're going to sample directly,
it may sample a lot of beats.
If you're going to sample directly, then you need to get some sort of consent. You should be. It should be a collaborative kind of work. But if you're going to sample and change something, then that's for you. That's okay. There's always a limit to it. Originality is as a question of extension. If it's more than 50%, my friend, you're unaiba flow. Now what Juki is saying, you're stealing my ideas, would come in. But if you've been given the idea in the first place, then
you should learn to be humble sometimes.
You get humble. You go humble.
Like Pia, I think for example, let me give an example of Kunai song here. Avicii also used to do a lot of sampling. Kama Kunai song here. Sometimes I get a little feeling. Yeah, and originally, who that was by? I don't know if it was some old lady. Like I don't 80s, know. From times like I don't know if it was Aretha Franklin herself or someone within that time. And
80s, early 90s, probably.
And for him to use that vocal in a beat, he needs to get permission from the copyright owners of that work. And I think that's where for example, there's this song I think by Rihanna and DJ Khaled, which uses guitar.
Joel Santana.
The Maria. And by using that guitar work, they need to have permission from
Joel Santana.
Or the people managing that song. And I think that's what a lot of guys don't understand in sampling. Like if you take it directly and put it in, you don't just put it out there and expect to make money from it.
No.
They will come for you. Copyright is serious. It's no joke.
Okay, because a lot of breakthrough successes have happened through sampling. When somebody samples a part of a song, a whole community feels nostalgic about it. They're like, this is just proper. So I get why people will come back at you if you have not sorted yourself in the terms of licensing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of artists, before you get into it, or as you're getting into it, understand what this means. And I think, Pia, another thing a lot of artists don't really appreciate is it takes a team to work.
For real.
I've seen a lot of issues with guys. There's this issue of being... having someone write for you.
And your ego gets way out of hand, blood.
Yeah, like I had an experience with a Kenyan artist. I won't mention the name. But we were generally discussing the industry issues, and what he was suggesting that all DJs become producers, and that would solve all the problems in the industry. And I was like,
what the hell is that?
Yeah, that was my thinking. And I tried to give an example by like saying, Beyonce or Rihanna don't write all their songs. And he broke out in outrage, like saying, how can you perform something which you have not written? And I realized at that point that a lot of people don't understand what it takes to put out a big song, and why those songs are so good is because it's not one person's work.
That's true.
As a musician, you need to appreciate you cannot do everything on your own.
Awezi could get something and then you say you don't like it just because you don't like it. Yeah? That's been like a spoiled little brat.
Let me point out something to you.
Yeah.
I remember growing up and you record the song, right?
Yeah.
You write your own song.
Yeah.
You go to the studio, they make for you a beat.
Yeah.
You do the beat, the song on the beat.
Yeah.
You finish and then you do a video.
Yeah.
You write an idea for the video,
Yeah.
And you go for a photo shoot. You have the idea yourself again. And then now the song is done. The project is done.
Yeah.
You have the project.
Yeah.
You promo the project yourself.
Yeah.
You see, now there's something that is consistent in all this. It's yourself.
Yeah.
You have not consulted a professional in anything. You've been doing it yourself. And that's where I think the Kenyan industry goes wrong, because they feel like they know everything,
Their self is ultimate. They don't try,
like
different angles, different
from
perceptions.
And most of them go stale, because they've been doing the same thing.
And expecting different results.
Juke is a professional in terms of graphics.
Yeah.
You are professional in terms of rights and distribution and writing, songwriting.
Yeah.
In fact, people should be reading your articles by now, how to get your YouTube artist channel. Mari can hook you up with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing posters, Juke can hook you up with that.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of production, I've been refusing to do mastering for a lot of my songs personally.
Yeah, why is that? I've been meaning to ask you, man.
Because there's something about having a third party come into the project every time as a professional. I have done the work. When he comes in, if I've put a reverb somewhere, all he has to do is correct the reverb and make it sound nice. Not to take the reverb away. Because the idea I have is to have a reverb there. I'm going for that feeling, So if you're working with a professional, he will know how to make your stuff sound good. All right? Now, if I exclude him, imagine Shaman with the same beat, same mastering, everything's just the same. Man, people get bored. And then it's not quality because you're not a professional in what you're doing.
Yeah.
We need to appreciate other people's inputs. All right?
For sure. Yeah.
And I think looking at the Kenyan industry, I think there's a lot of careers which could grow in the music industry if we take certain roles professionally. For example, songwriting.
Yeah.
Out there, it's a big deal. People have careers purely out of songwriting.
Ghostwriters make a living.
Ghostwriters. And sorry to say this, but people have maybe hated on, let's say, like Drake for allegedly having ghostwriters.
It's a necessary thing, especially in hip hop. If you feel you need a ghostwriter, yes. For me, I usually write my own stuff. But if you feel you need a ghostwriter, For Drake's case, you can clearly see his music is targeted to a certain audience. So it requires a little bit of, a kind of other perspective of somebody's expression, because Drake is mostly the chicks love his stuff, And now there are different kind of women who have different kind of personalities, and they adhere to different kind of emotions. So you need different kind of people to give you perspective for all these kinds of different individuals. So ghostwriting, I have no issue with it. If you're into it, do it. You know what I'm saying?
You hip hop heads don't like ghostwriters. There's an artist, one of the big artists here I'm working with at the moment. We're doing a project, and every time we're in studio having a session, and I have an idea and I want to incorporate it to the craft, whatever he's writing. He's normally very hesitant. He would look at me and he'd be like, nigga, you sure you won't tell? I'm like, nah, I won't tell. No, I won't tell. But it's an unspoken code. You see, we don't have that kind of conversation. But that feeling, I won't show you if I should tell this, because he's an OG, he's a proper OG. And if people find out that it's being written for, probably they feel like they would lose the respect. But that is not true. But that's the perception.
Yeah, and I think I think this applies more to singers. The being written for is not a crime. It's not a bad thing.
What is?
I think what artists should put more focus on is, even if you've been written for, can you own it in your performance? Like, for example, if Beyonce performs a song, and I'm using just random examples, you will feel like she owns it, like it's hers. The emotion, you feel it, and I think that's what music is all about. If you can feel whatever you're performing, whether or not you've written it could be a different issue. And I was bringing out the story of careers. There's different careers in music which have not grown because we have not explored certain aspects of music.
The industry.
Like song arrangers. There are people who come to the studio specifically to arrange the song.
Nice one. Let me tell you, A$AP Rocky was doing very awesome when he was doing albums. He had somebody in his group also. It was called A$AP Somebody. He died some time ago, but that guy was there specifically to arrange his songs and select the beats. Since that guy coughed, his A$AP Rock's album have not been that dope. A$AP Rocky, not A$AP Rock, A$AP Rocky.
It's interesting that you point that out, because Mari is talking about the industry being so large and not having developed the way it should. I think it's because Kenyans are very selfish by nature. Go anywhere in the world, utambiwa, those Kenyans, then you find Nigerians, it's the same thing. Because these guys, they're not willing to share their knowledge readily. It's not readily willing to share their knowledge. You find someone has been in the industry for the longest time. He will come to you, you do a project, and then he won't even tell you the expected outcome, because he does not want to enlighten you like that. So remember, it's a job. This guy goes and buys a new car out of the project. You unabaki tu pale doing the loops, you do the same thing, no money comes in. So I think maybe that's something we need to address actively. It's a conversation we need to have, all of us at the same time.
For sure. So Shaman, Mari, what is this issue with Jada Pinkett? Jada Pinkett.
The entanglement. The entanglement.
Everybody's calling it an entanglement.
She called it an entanglement.
Yeah, by the way, she did. She called it herself. man, that was crazy.
Yeah, me personally, I know Jada and Will. I've been following them. I kind of feel like, they're the supreme black family. Like, if you want to have a family, you have a family like those guys. But shit happens. Shit happens, blood. And me singesema ati Jada has done anything. It happens, blood. It happens.
Did you watch the Red Talk episode, the one she hosts?
Nah, nigga.
I found it interesting that particular episode. I found it interesting how their family who's in the limelight and who a lot of people look up to. And while they were talking about it, like they decided to open up. Yeah.
I think you should not say open up. You should quote. Yeah. Open up. Because at the end of the day, we know this is showbiz. In showbiz.
Yeah. And this is a thing.
Because I'm sure Will. Kwani unadhani Will ana pango wa kando? Come on.
Now, this is the thing. What I took from it was whether or not those are stunts, the reality to it, like how they manage the whole thing. And I remember seeing that story online, like Augusta Alsina, with Jada Pinkett. Then I hear that Jada Pinkett has come out and addressed it. And I hadn't even planned on it, but I had to watch that Red Talk episode just to find out what the whole story is. And you see, that is showbiz. Like they used themselves to drag. They used the whole story and took it to their advantage. Played it out to get people to watch their most recent episode.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's more to it, which we need actually to appreciate, even before we can start talking about another thing.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's slow it down a little bit. It's showbiz, right? At the end of the day, it's showbiz.
Yes.
You will see, I bet you will see so many things happening from it.
Yeah.
I'm coming to that. I mean,
like
Booyaka, Gatekeepers Musically Speaking Podcast. The agenda, blood.
Yeah, I was talking about the showbiz thing with Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. Now, what I would say is, whether or not all that is true, the thing is how they managed it and how they, for example, used that incident to drive traffic to their episode of the Red Talk. That is showbiz. And I think let me just chomea watu wa Kenya. Kenyans need to learn how to implement showbiz. Like, it's not just stories. Like, I let me point out something I saw in the news, Maze. Now, they brought it up on NTV yesterday as I was watching.
It don't compare.
They talked about it, and I was not even watching TV. I was just passing by. Then I stopped to hear, hey, what do they have to say about Jada Pinkett?
Your TV must be really big if you're passing by.
Leave me alone.
It's not what I
saw. So anyway, they were talking about Jada Pinkett and Will Smith and the entanglement. Then they cue in Major. And Major story about, I don't know, his girlfriend. I was like, okay, how do those two, like, they're comparing Will Smith and Jada Pinkett with Major talking about his girlfriend and whether or not it's serious. Like, you can't compare.
I think you should add some respect to that, to your voice when you're talking about
No. Listen. No, it is, I'm pointing it out because it is, I would say, that is what is bringing back the Kenyan industry.
Well, there you have it.
The entertainment.
Prep. Shots at you.
We should take our game to the next level.
So, what is wrong? I think our level is at Majors right now. Major and the girlfriend. And that's the showbiz we have in.
I think for us to grow as an industry, we need to grow past that. Because, for example, if at all, let's say we're discussing this, but how long do you think they will talk about Majors and the girlfriend story?
That needs to be generated daily.
But this Will Smith and Jada Pinkett is bound to do some rounds, you know.
You're talking about the magnitude.
Prime time.
Yes.
But
yes.
Both of them are showbiz.
Yeah.
We agree. Yes, no.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Good.
But the thing is, for us to grow, like, and I'm no disrespect to Major, like he's at the top of the Kenyan music scene. So they are the ones who will open up or allow the other artists to grow. Yeah, like they are the ones directing the other artists, the younger artists.
Vile Diamond amefunguliwa Tanzania milango.
Yes. Yeah. Good example you've brought in. For example, Diamond and the sagas he's always having. Sijui kutoka Tanasha and do you see how they play it out?
It's almost real life.
Yeah.
It's almost, I wouldn't be surprised if those kids are not Diamonds though. But the mouths, it can't be that far.
Yeah, but you see, the mere fact that you're questioning it shows how well played out it is. And I think that's what we need to put in our Kenyan industry.
And that will be a story for another episode.
Yeah.
Time's up. You know, this is the Gatekeepers Musically Speaking Podcast. Tuna premiere Monday, 9 p.m. on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. Defile it as much as you want.
Oh, yes. Could I bring in one small thing?
No.
Please. On the thing of originality, you mentioned something. There's nothing new under the sun.
Yes.
We all borrow from something.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give this example of you follow Game of Thrones. You watch? No, it's just a quick reference.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. You've watched it. There's a lot of concepts to it that are borrowed. For example, the concept of dragons. It's not new with Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a concept of kingdoms fighting. That's not new to Game of Thrones. But just a simple thing, like White Walkers, there's been zombie stories even before that. But there's a concept of the children of the forest. I don't know if you remember that. And
Wildlings.
Yeah. And you know, there's, if you try to follow up those stories, that kind of concept, I don't think you'll find it. I don't know if you've seen it in any other movies, you know.
No, see, again, when it comes to that kind of stuff, there was a time Hollywood was trying to take up exclusive ownership of Hakuna Matata. Yeah. That phrase itself, you see, that is them taking it and then making it theirs. Again, that goes to issues of registration and copyrights and whatnot. But let's not get to it. Subscribe. You watch the next episode 7, I think. Is it?
For sure.
Yeah. It's that and it's that. Actually, guys, the soundbite for this week. Check on my YouTube page. Sure. It's gonna be there. It's gonna.
Booyaka.
Shaman, you're bad.